in the words of the Maharal, encompass the defining attributes of the human being. Chachma, wisdom, reflecting a person's intellect, his seichel. Gevura, the emotional life force, the nefesh dimension. Osher, wealth, which is the guf, the physical dimension. And kavod, honor, which is the overall virtue of the total human being. For the person, if you remember, to be deserving of the title reflecting each of these attributes, to be called a mechubad, to be called a gibor, to be called an ashir, to be called a chacham, the definition must be objective, absolute, dependent on nothing except something that's completely an integral part of the person. Ezehu ashir hasameach bechelko. Who is a wealthy person? A person who is happy with what he has. When we describe a person as wealthy, the amount of money he has in his storehouse or in his bank account, under his mattress, this is not relevant since the money exists outside of the person and it's not an intrinsic part of the individual. Of course, however much money the person has, there's always somebody who has more money. So therefore, it's always going to be relative. The individual's perception and attitude towards his wealth, says the Maharal. This is the only aspect that we can say is objective and is intrinsic part of the human being. Only one who is joyous with what he possesses and has an attitude of wealth and abundance can be said to have wealth as an integral part of himself, and only this person can be called an ashir. How does this happen? How do we make this happen? Now, the proof text is a very strange proof text. Yigia kapecha ki tochal, the strivings of your hand you eat or you consume. Ashrecha v'tovlach, you are validated and it's good. What does it mean that the strivings of your hand that you produce, you consume, you eat, and how does that verify, how does that validate the thesis that a person who's happy with what he has is called an usher? So there's a very famous joke in the world of psychiatry. Abraham Tversky brings it in a couple of his books. Knock, knock, who's there? At the door of the psychiatrist. The psychiatrist opens the door. I've come to see you, doctor. Why did you come? My family sent me. Why did your family send you? They say I'm crazy. And why do they think you're crazy? Because I like pancakes. So the psychiatrist looks a little bit bewildered. Liking pancakes, that's not a reason to think you're crazy. I also like pancakes. So the patient's eyes light up. You also like pancakes? Doctor, you must come and visit me. I have 10,000 pancakes in the freezer in my attic. So it's a very nice joke. And then Tversky says, now let's take out the word pancakes and replace it with the word money. Take out the freezer in the attic and replace it with bank account or portfolio. All of a sudden, it's not funny at all. We have lots of money. What's the reason why we call the guy who has 10,000 pancakes crazy? Why does he need a psychiatrist? Hoarding more pancakes than can be properly used and consumed, it's considered the behavior of a disturbed person. Somehow or other, we have trouble applying the same standards to hoarding money as we have to hoarding pancakes. So how is the proof text going to prove the thesis that we're looking for? So says the Maharal, the word ashrecha implies a stable existence. The word kiyum, all right, is used also, and kiyum refers to material possessions. When you consume, says the Maharal, according to the pasuk, when you consume what you achieve with your own hands, so the pasuk is telling you you will have the virtue of being wealthy, ensuring your existence. How does this work? So the word ochel means to be nourished and to consume. Nehene means that you don't feel you're missing anything. You enjoy. In the Kabbalistic literature, the difference between an ani and an ashir, a poor person and a wealthy person, is that the poor person is missing something. The poor person needs to receive from outside of himself. The poor person is not self-sufficient. An ashir has more than he needs. An ashir has wealth that he can share with other people. Praise is given to one who finds sufficiency in what he has. If he's not lacking anything, he's not missing anything, so then this makes him richer than the wealthiest man. Because every person, as much money as he has, always has a sense, if he wants to be measured by his wealth, that there's more money out there and somebody always has more money than me. So therefore, you're lacking. But one who views what he has as being sufficient, so he lacks nothing. And if he lacks nothing, then he can't have more than that. And therefore, he's truly an usher, truly a wealthy person. This is very romantic. How do we accomplish this? How do we become joyous with what we have and really make ourselves into ashirim, into wealthy people? So if we view every resource that is given to us by Hashem as a resource to be used for a valuable purpose, somehow connected to the service of God, so then every resource that you have is sufficient. We serve God with our resources, whether it's financial resources, time, talents. It isn't done only in the realm of mitzvos. We know that when we have money, we give tzedakah. When we have time, we daven. But money spent on supporting a family, time spent helping another person, talents utilized to the benefit of others, to the benefit of society at large, these are resources used to serve Hashem. If one understands Hashem can't demand that you serve him with resources he didn't give you, then you will never feel frustrated by what you don't have. Because if every resource is to serve Hashem, Hashem only demands that I serve him with those resources. You won't be an ani, you won't be thinking about what's missing, but you will be an ashir, always thinking about how I can use and share the resources that I have. That's the definition of an ashir. Our attitude towards wealth, which is objective, absolute, and dependent only on something that's within myself. We'll continue more with this next week.